Hello. Didn't see you there. My name's Ryan, and welcome to the Literature Science Alliance. And I'm coming at you with a new quarantine cut that Angela and I actually just did today. So, real couple pastimes, just giving one of us a haircut. But that's not why I'm here. This is the Literature Science Alliance, and we talk about books on here. What is the literature? Is the Literature Science Alliance? Is that like the name of the channel? Is that you? Like what? What am I the ally? Like how does this work?
It's just alliteration.
Okay.
I just sometimes talk about science and books.
So the channel is the Alliance?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm learning a lot today. And hopefully you'll learn something too, because I'm here to talk about another book that I read. So I've been doing the whole killing time while in quarantine thing, and read another book. So really upping my numbers this year. And I really decided to broaden my horizon to, instead of just reading sci-fi from the 50s, I read a sci-fi book from the most recent decade. It's called The Gone World by, let me not have my thumb over his name, Tom Sweeterlich. Sweeterlich? Sweeterlich. We'll go with that. I couldn't find anybody like pronouncing his name online, so that's my best guess. And right away, I think this is a weird quote to have on the top of the book, Inception meets True Detective, because this book is a really fun mixture of true crime. Well, not okay. True detective. That part's right. It's a mixture of like a murder mystery plus time travel and space travel. So I think the Christopher Nolan movie that they should compare this to is probably more Interstellar than Inception, because there are no dreams in this book. Nobody has dreams. Anyway, sorry, the cat's right behind the laptop and just made a visceral sound. So I guess the cat's in the video now too by proxy. The cats and I are unionizing. So I have my notes here because I cannot just do this off the dome like Angela can. So this was released in 2018. Like I said before, it was, but I guess it still is a time travel / detective story. It follows a character by the name of Shannon Moss, who is part of this naval. There's so many. What's the word? What's the word? When it's like a letter? Is it annotate abbreviations? Like when it's like one letter represents a word. You know words.
I don't actually know, but you're talking like CIA.
Yeah.
It's an acronym.
Acronym, that's it. Okay, it started with an A. I was getting there. Hope you guys are really appreciating these off-screen cameos today. So, Shannon Moss is an agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, or NCIS, which I don't think has any relation to the show my dad watches. So it takes place in Western Pennsylvania, and it handles time travel in a really fun way that I'm going to get into in a second. But just to give a quick summary of the book, Shannon Moss is trying to investigate crimes to stop the end of the world, because there's this event called the Terminus, where something, it's explained, but I don't want to go into spoiler territory. I'm trying to stay as spoiler-free as possible. An event happens where these like microorganisms come into Earth, and when they possess humanity, it basically causes everyone to die out. So it's kind of like an alien plague sort of thing. So Shannon Moss is a part of this secret Navy space team to try and find out how to stop the Terminus. And in order to do so, they have access to what's called deep space and deep time. And what that is it's just a dimension outside of what our solar system has, and their ships can travel through it, and when they travel through it, their bodies age faster. So Shannon Moss is like in her 20s during the book. Excuse me, but she looks like she's in her 40s, just because of rapid science fiction stuff happening to her body. But when they want to go to a place in time on Earth, they will anchor their ship down to a specific date. So what they can do is they travel to Earth during that date, and their ship stays there, and they can go forward in time as much as they want, and they'll go along with the timeline and create whatever happens within that timeline. So for the purpose of this story, Shannon is investigating any clues towards what caused the terminus, how to stop it, and if something happens where she has to get pulled back, she'll go back to the original date that they anchored their ship, and that timeline's just erased, and it just starts all over. So I think it's a really good way of telling a time travel story and not making the reader think too hard about it, because I didn't find any real inconsistencies or any real like blatant plot holes when I was reading it. But I'm sure it's time travel, it's pretty easy to mess that up, but I didn't notice anything. So I think it's very good on like a base level to, maybe don't think too hard about it, but it works. So just to iterate what I was going through right there, I drew a nice little figure here. So basically what's happening is no matter what, the terminus is going to happen on a given date. And so they're trying to stop it. No matter how far they're in this extra dimension, like deep space and deep time, you can't run away from the terminus. It's a cataclysmic event. It's going to happen. So the interesting thing is, as they go through different timelines, though, the terminus time changes. So it's a fun back and forth in that sort of regard. But as a book, I really enjoyed this. And it starts off like hitting you with a lot of its own like sci-fi terms right at the beginning, but then it does a hard shift and kind of follows one timeline for a good portion of the book to make you get a little bit more comfortable with the detective part of the story, and then starts reintroducing the sci-fi elements it came out hitting so hard and fast with. So I think it does a really good job of balancing two genres, because I think it's very easy to lean heavily on one and sprinkle in bits of the other. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think this book does a really good job of mixing two genres together and kind of keeping it as 50-50 as you can while still being able to tell the story that you want to tell. So I think that's all I got. Yeah. I guess I should mention one thing. Shannon Moss is she loses her leg in the opening chapter, and so one cool thing about her character development is that she keeps thinking about she has to adjust to her life as an amputee, which is, it's not an easy thing to go through at all. So I think that adds a little extra wrinkle to like a typical, sci-fi story. I highly recommend this book. I think if you're looking for a quick sci-fi read, I would recommend this. If you're looking for a relatively heavy, like it's a graphic and explicit detective story. It's a very, rated R sort of book, but if that's the mold you're looking for, it's a good one to pick up. All right.
Tell them to like and subscribe.
The ghost of Angela has informed me that you should like, comment, and subscribe for more content on this channel. Mostly hers. I drop in from time to time. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, comment and subscribe. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's those. I'm good with those numbers. See you next time.